Just northwest of Denver lies the quiet suburb of Westminster, Colorado, a place once considered safe until one horrifying year shattered its peace. A jogger's narrow escape, a little girl's tragic disappearance, and an unimaginable confession that rocked an entire community. This is the chilling story of Austin Sigg and the heinous crime that changed Westminster forever. If you believe stories like this must be told, hit that like button and subscribe to uncover the truth behind the darkest cases. Comment below with your thoughts as we dive into this heartbreaking case. Just northwest of Denver and southeast of Boulder lies the suburb of Westminster, Colorado. The city of about 100,000 is a nice, safe place to raise a family. At least that's what the residents thought before May 2012. On the Memorial Day holiday, a 22-year-old woman was jogging around beautiful Kettner Lake, a 50-acre open space with a 1-mile trail that encircles the lake. As she ran along the secluded trail in the early afternoon, a man ran up to her from behind, grabbed her arms, and forced a cloth over her mouth. She could smell the distinct odor of chemicals on the cloth. The young woman was lucky. Though she was terrified, she was strong enough to fight the man and got away to call police. She described the attacker as a white male, approximately 5 feet 8 inches tall, with brown hair, an average build, wearing a blue baseball cap, black t-shirt, jeans, and sunglasses. Westminster police developed a sketch of the attacker and obtained some DNA from the scene, but months went by and they weren't able to find any suspects. Police had no idea the attacker was 17-year-old Austin Sigg. When Austin was just 12 years old, his stepmother sent him to a faith-based therapist after finding porn on his computer. He wrote a note to his therapist, "I have an addiction to porn, and I would like to stop." This wasn't just any kind of porn, though. Austin was addicted to the kind that involves underage children, also known as CP. By the way, here's a photo of how the creep looked like. Austin went through therapy, and his therapist encouraged his father to add parental controls to his computer. But as with any teenager nowadays, he easily circumvented it. From there, his addiction only escalated. Austin later recalled, "It took a hold of me and it just started growing. After I got done seeing my Christian therapist, psychiatrist, whatever you want to call it, I thought I had a grip for a little while, and then it probably lasted not even a month, and then I went back to it." To his friends and fellow students, he seemed like a relatively normal kid. Friends said he was a bit of a goth kid, but well-liked, smart, and a total sweetheart. He had a collection of swords and knives, but came across as a regular kid into music and video games. His classmates, however, had no idea about the crazy thoughts that were swirling in his head. Austin left high school early to attend Warren Tech, a local technical school, and get his GED high school equivalency. He then enrolled at Arapahoe Community College. He wanted to put high school behind him and pursue his obsession: mortuary science and crime scene investigation. In addition to his porn addiction, Austin had an obsession with dead bodies and decomposition. He took dead rats home from school so he could study them in various stages of decomposition. Austin's father was a wealthy business owner, but had a long criminal record. Robert Sigg had a federal conviction for bank fraud and various other charges, including assault, burglary, domestic violence, distributing drugs, DUI, and resisting arrest. By the time Austin reached 17, his child porn obsession had progressed to include violence and death. On his iPhone, Austin kept photos and videos of children, bondage, rape, and human dismemberment. On October 5, 2012, 5 months after the Kettner Lake jogger was attacked, 10-year-old Jessica Ridgway started her walk to school, just like any other day. Jessica was excited to become a teenager. Only 3 more years. She loved to play waitress and cheerleader. She loved math, and her favorite color was purple. She was known for her purple glasses and the tiny gap in her front teeth. Here is how the innocent little angel looked like. Jessica's mother worked the long and exhausting night shifts from 10 p.m. until 7 a.m., so she was able to see Jessica off to school in the morning before she slept during the day. Normally, Jessica walked to school with a young boy down the street and called the boy's father at 8:25 a.m. to let them know she was on her way. Jessica kissed her mother goodbye, put on her black puffy coat, and at 8:30 a.m. headed out the door. Though the boy only lived a few houses away, Jessica never arrived there. The boy's father assumed Jessica's mother had decided to drive her to school. When Witt Elementary School realized Jessica had not shown up for school, they called her mother Sarah, but because of her work schedule, she was still asleep and the call went to voicemail. When Sarah Ridgway woke at 4:00 p.m. and heard the voicemail, she immediately went looking for Jessica along the route to school. She checked her friends' homes, the nearby parks, but there was no sign of Jessica. Sarah Ridgway told the media, "And then you get a pit in your stomach you don't want any parent to experience in their entire life, when you know your child has been taken." Jessica's terrified mother reported her missing at 4:30 p.m., and the search started immediately. Police questioned school faculty and went door to door along her route to school, hoping for any leads. Volunteers and firefighters joined in the search, and an Amber Alert was issued at 9:15 p.m. By morning, there were over 1,000 people searching for Jessica, resulting in one of the largest searches in Colorado history. Police sent divers into Kettner Lake while sniffer dogs and helicopters searched the area, but there was no trace of Jessica. Despite their efforts, the first 48 hours came and went with no clues. On Sunday, October 7th, 6 miles away, a man found a backpack in his yard. Not having heard the news of the missing girl, he posted on a local social media page about it and mentioned that it contained a keychain with the name Jessica Ridgway. Others in the group informed him that was the name of the missing girl, and he turned the backpack over to police. Inside the backpack, investigators found Jessica's purple glasses and the clothes she was wearing when she left for school that morning. Her clothes were soaked in urine. DNA analysis of the backpack revealed the DNA of someone other than Jessica. Most likely it was the DNA of her abductor. When the DNA was put through databases, it revealed that it was also a match to the DNA from the person who attacked the jogger on Kettner Lake. 5 days after Jessica had gone missing, maintenance workers were working in Patridge Park open space when they noticed something that seemed strange and out of place. In a patch of tall whiskey grass was a large black garbage bag. When workers opened the bag, they found a tiny human torso. Patridge Park was 9 miles southwest of Jessica's home in the town of Arvada. Arvada Police and Westminster Police worked together with the FBI under floodlights throughout the night processing the scene. The torso was missing the arms, legs, and head and had been wiped clean, but not clean enough. Police were able to retrieve DNA from the torso. It matched the backpack and the Kettner Lake jogger. The next morning, investigators announced the devastating news. The torso was indeed the remains of 10-year-old Jessica Ridgway. A sense of anguish and terror gripped the community of Westminster and the surrounding cities. Parents took time off work to make sure their children made it to school safely. The city that once left doors unlocked and kids played free had instantly lost its sense of security. Jessica Ridgway's funeral was held on October 16th, and her favorite color, purple, was predominant. Over 2,000 people attended. Her mother wore a purple ribbon in her hair, mourners released purple balloons, and Colorado Governor John Hickenlooper wore a purple shirt as he spoke and expressed the sadness of the entire state of Colorado. In the days after Jessica's death, over 700 local residents gave voluntary DNA samples. One of those samples was 17-year-old Austin Sigg, yes, the evil kid. He had been studying crime scene investigation and was confident he had left no trace. He thought he was so smart, so he voluntarily allowed investigators to swab his cheek. Incredibly, Austin's DNA sample was mishandled. His DNA was mistakenly returned to police in a batch of samples that were not a match. 3 days after the funeral, on October 19th, Westminster police asked the public for help. They had found a small cross near the torso in Patridge Park, which was possibly part of a necklace. Police were asking for anyone that may have seen the cross before to come forward, and they were in luck. This is the actual cross found at the scene. A woman called detectives and reported that a friend of hers, Mindy Sigg, had a son who wore a cross similar to the one shown on the news and lived less than a mile from Jessica's home. When police interviewed Austin Sigg, he was calm and answered all questions asked of him. He told police he was sleeping on the morning that Jessica disappeared. Though he was calm during the questioning, after the interview he was on edge and told friends at Arapahoe Community College that he felt sick and wobbly. Austin was certain that the FBI had matched his DNA to the samples taken from the torso and the backpack. On the night of October 22nd, Austin was panicking and so slept with his mother. The next day, Austin told his mother, "I am a monster and need to be punished." He explained what he had done, and his mother called Westminster police. The following are excerpts from Mindy Sigg's 911 call. Mindy Sigg. Hi, I need you to come to my house. My son wants to turn himself in for the Jessica Ridgway murder. 911. And what's going on there? Ma'am, are you there? Mindy. Did you not hear me? He just confessed to killing her. 911. I know, I want you to tell me what's going on. Can you tell me exactly what he said? Mindy. That he did it and gave me details and her remains are in my house. The 911 dispatcher then asked to speak to Austin. Austin Sigg. I don't exactly get why you're asking me these questions. I murdered Jessica Ridgway. 911. Okay. Austin. I have proof that I did it. There is no other question. You just have to send a squad car, something down here. Austin Sigg also admitted to attacking a jogger at Kettner Lake. He was then asked if he had weapons. Austin. I have knives in my room, and we own a few guns, but I'm giving myself up completely. There will be no resistance whatsoever. The dispatcher talks again to Mindy. Is Austin still there with you? Mindy. Yeah, I'm hugging him, crying. Okay, you guys are hugging? Okay, you definitely did the right thing. You tell me when the officers get there. They're coming to your front door, okay? By the way, the complete 16-minute 911 call is available in the online somewhere, or you can let me know in the comments if you want to hear it. Investigators questioned Austin Sigg for hours while he explained in horrific detail how he abducted and murdered Jessica Ridgway. Austin had been hiding in the back seat of his Jeep on the morning of October 5th as Jessica was walking to school. Though he claimed Jessica was chosen at random, he had parked near her house and knew that she would have to walk past his vehicle as she walked down the street. As she passed his Jeep, he leapt out of the back seat and grabbed her. Jessica screamed, but nobody heard her screams. Using zip ties, he bound her wrists and ankles and threw her in the back seat, then drove down random side streets. By the time they arrived at his house, the frightened 10-year-old had wet herself with fear. Austin claimed that he sat with Jessica for 2 hours in his bedroom, watching a movie and cartoons, and she asked him over and over if he knew her mom. He then cut her hair and gave her clothes to change into. He put her urine-soaked clothes into her backpack. Initially, he claimed he didn't sexually assault her, but later admitted that he did several times. She suffered considerable bruising from the force of the grape. After he had repeatedly graped her, Austin told her to face the wall. When she turned around, he put zip ties around her neck in an attempt to strangle her. He told investigators that he didn't have enough leverage with the zip ties and they cut into his hands. He then tried strangling her with his bare hands, but after 3 minutes, he realized his hands just weren't strong enough. Eventually, he filled the bathtub with scalding hot water and forced her head underwater, drowning her. Sigg went on to tell investigators that he shoved the small cross into her vagina and dismembered her body using a small knife and a saw. He cut her arms, legs, and head off. Police didn't release full details of the dismemberment, but Sigg told detectives that the whole process fulfilled a fantasy for him. He cut her hands and feet into small pieces and flushed them down the toilet. He then removed her internal organs, put them into containers, and labeled them. He kept her skull and organs in a small crawl space in his home. Sigg told police that afterwards he sat looking at her body. All I could think of was, oh God, what have I done? There is no better word to describe what I have done than evil. At only 17 years old at the time of the murder, Austin Sigg could not be charged as an adult and wasn't eligible for the death penalty or life in prison because the Supreme Court determined those penalties are cruel and unusual punishment for minors. Instead, he was charged in juvenile court, but prosecutors wanted to make certain he would never again see the outside of a prison. The counts against him piled up. He was charged with 19 counts, including first-degree murder after deliberation, 3 counts of felony murder, assault on a child, second-degree kidnapping and robbery, plus attempted murder, attempted kidnapping, and attempted sexual assault for the Kettner Lake jogger attack. Sigg pleaded guilty to all counts against him. This is him on his court trial day. Yeah, I know, I would want to punch that face too. His defense argued that he was not mature and didn't understand the acts he was committing, but the judge disagreed. On November 20th, 2013, Austin Sigg was sentenced to 40 years in prison for first-degree murder, plus an additional 86 years for the remaining 18 counts against him, ensuring he will never be released from prison. On October 5, 2013, 1 year after her death, the city of Westminster, Colorado changed the name of Jessica's favorite park to the Jessica Ridgway Memorial Park. Throughout the park, the sidewalks are etched with Jessica's favorite knock-knock jokes, and the children's playground toys are painted her favorite color, purple. This case serves as a chilling reminder that appearances can be deceiving. It highlights the importance of vigilance, community support, and mental health intervention. Evil often lurks where we least expect it, but so does the strength of a united community determined to protect its children. One of the most effective ways to prevent such tragedies is by fostering community awareness. Staying informed about local incidents and crimes can empower residents to take proactive measures. Neighborhood safety groups, local apps, and social media platforms can be utilized to share information and alert one another to potential dangers. A well-connected and informed community is often the first line of defense. For families, educating children about personal safety is crucial. Teach them the importance of avoiding strangers, traveling in groups, and being aware of their surroundings. Establish a plan for emergencies, such as identifying trusted safe houses or people they can approach if they feel unsafe. Empower them to trust their instincts and ensure they know how to contact help when needed. Individuals, especially those who exercise or travel alone, should take personal safety measures seriously. Joggers and walkers in secluded areas should consider carrying tools like pepper spray, whistles, or personal alarms. It's also wise to inform someone of your planned route and expected return time. For added security, wearing reflective clothing or using GPS-enabled safety devices can make a significant difference in ensuring your safety. Mental health awareness plays a critical role in preventing such tragedies. Pay close attention to behavioral changes in family members, particularly teenagers. If warning signs of troubling behavior appear, seek consistent professional help and remain actively involved in their recovery. Addressing issues early can prevent harmful tendencies from escalating. Lastly, communities should come together to support public safety initiatives like neighborhood watches or community patrols. A collective effort can deter potential offenders and create an environment where residents feel safe. Together, we can take meaningful steps to protect one another and ensure that our neighborhoods remain secure places to live and thrive. If you believe stories like this must be told, hit that like button and subscribe to uncover the truth behind the darkest cases